On December 15, 2016, Theodore Johnson invited his ex-girlfriend Angela Best over to help him with an appointment with the Jamaican Embassy. As soon as she entered the house, he struck her in the head with a claw hammer 6 times. Then he strangled her with a gown. A few hours later, he threw himself in front of a moving train, losing his right arm and left hand. While the medics tended to his injuries, the police went back to his home and discovered Angela's body. Theodore confessed to the murder and was sentenced to 30 years, but the real reason he killed her was due to a letter that showed up at his house. As after 20 years together, Angela found out that the man that she loved had been convicted of manslaughter. Twice! Welcome to History's Biggest Villains. Theodore was born in Jamaica in 1954 as one of 11 children, working on a banana plantation to make ends meet. In 1980, he moved to the UK with his wife Yvonne and found work at a car repair shop. In 1981, the couple got into an argument after she wouldn't let him go to church since she wasn't dressed well enough. He then grabbed a vase and hit her over the head before pushing her off the balcony of their 9th floor apartment in Wolverhampton, where she died upon impact. The words of the prosecution were clear. Mrs. Johnson was screaming. She managed to grab a hold of the ledge of the balcony and hung there for a short time. He did nothing. He watched. She fell. Despite this, Theodore was cleared of murder and sentenced to manslaughter after a judge described him as a battered husband who had suffered violence at the hands of his wife as he retold an incident where she hit him with a broom. Theodore ultimately served just 3 years in prison, 2 years after he was released and 5 years after he killed his wife. He met Yvonne Bennett. The couple moved to Finsbury Park and had a daughter. In 1993, they were separated, but Theodore found out that she was seeing another man. He then started to stalk her, as he even had to be removed from her house by the police on one occasion. One night, while his 2-year-old child was asleep, he fastened a belt around Yvonne's neck and pulled with all his strength. He called the police to confess to the crime. Then he tried to hang himself from a tree, but the rope snapped, and he was arrested. At the trial, he claimed to be suffering from depression and a personality disorder, so he pleaded guilty to manslaughter for the 2nd time, as this was on the grounds of diminished responsibility. Instead of prison, Theodore was sent to a mental institution. In September 1994, less than a year after he killed Yvonne Bennett, he was allowed to be out of the psych ward on escorted parole. In the summer of 1995, he was allowed to spend 2 days at a furniture restoration course unsupervised. There, he met 51-year-old mother of 4 Angela Best, as she had recently moved to Manchester and the two quickly began dating. Theodore was officially a free man in 1997, only 4 years after he killed Yvonne Bennett, and the one condition of his release was that he was required to disclose any relationships with women he formed to the doctors and social workers. Although the staff did make visits from time to time, even noticing a carving of love in the mantle and thinking nothing of it, this stipulation was mostly dependent on Theodore reporting these relationships himself. Great. In September 2016, Angela found a detail letter that listed Theodore's previous convictions, and she broke up with him afterwards. Despite his numerous attempts to get her back, Angela said she had felt the happiest she'd ever been after finding love with someone else. Theodore was seen by a psychiatrist and a social worker on December 8th, and he was found to not be depressed, and he continued to deny that he was in a relationship. On the 13th, he was supposed to have another appointment, but it was canceled after the social worker was sick. 2 days later, Angela went to his Islington flat to help him with an appointment with the Jamaican Embassy. Not long after she entered the house, Theodore struck her 6 times with a claw hammer, even as she had her hands up in a defensive position, finally strangling her with her leopard print dressing gown. He sat with the body for a few hours. Then he decided he wanted to end it all. He went to the Chestnut railway station and threw himself in front of the express train, losing his right arm and left hand. While the medics treated him, the police visited his home and discovered Angela's body. At the trial, the now wheelchair-bound Theodore confessed to Angela's murder, being sentenced to 26 years in prison. Judge Richard Marks QC said, "The attack by you on Angela Best was sustained, vicious, and utterly brutal. She suffered an unimaginably terrible death. Such repeated offending, resulting in 3 separate court cases, must be almost unprecedented." His lawyer Renette Henry said that he would most likely die in prison, saying, "He doesn't wish to be alive. He hates himself for what happened. Who cares?" The Crown later filed an appeal, and the sentence was increased to a minimum of 30 years. Camden and Islington NHS Trust, who was responsible for his care in the community since 2004, said it would provide Angela's family with an independent report and that his treatment complied with conditions set by the Mental Health Tribunal, which oversaw his discharge in 1997. After the verdict, Angela's sister Lorraine Jones said, "This convicted murderer tried to play the system as he had successfully done before. He knew what he was doing when he planned to execute the horrific murder of our beloved Angela. I just don't get how you just skirt justice for so long. How do you killed 2 people and you only served 8 years in prison? Like, I don't get what the system, you pushed your wife off a 9-story balcony, then you strangled the other one with a belt, then you killed the other one with a claw. Like, what? Why is this man not underneath the jail? Leave a like if you enjoyed. Hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Turn on my post notifications if you haven't already. Thank you. Please be safe. I'm out. Peace.
Angela was an inspiration to everyone who came into contact with her. She was kind, loving, and very, very caring. She was always smiling and radiant. It was never any trouble for Angela to offer help and support to anyone who needed it, because that was her nature.